If you're thinking about purchasing some type of Insta360 camera, I'm gonna bring you the most unique take, I think, and that is a comprehensive review of the average amateur user's experience with these cameras. Also, a disclosure, Insta360 is a channel sponsor of mine, so that's why I have all these different cameras to be able to show you. Also, this is Duchess, my pet cockatiel. He says hello. So when I say the average user's experience, I do mean it, because I feel like we're sold on like these super high powered features. These cameras can do a lot, but like what's the actual day-to-day gonna look like for you? What are you actually gonna be using it? Because for me, it's not exactly what I thought it would be. Like, I find some features that are not as heavily advertised in these cameras to be the most beneficial to me. So that's how I'm gonna be reviewing these cameras for you, so that you can make a decision that I think like the average person would be probably using these cameras for. So I'll start with the 360 cameras and kind of interweave the Ace Pro 2 in here as well. But as you can see, there are 3 models right now. This one is smaller. This is the newest one that they launched, the X4 Air, which kind of sits hybridly in between the X4 and the X5, but also kind of sits as a hybrid between the X3. Overall, it's like a lighter weight version of these bigger cameras. And before I go on, I have put together a spreadsheet for you that kind of links the differences between these cameras. So it's a Google Sheets document. I will leave the link in the description if you want to know like side by side how these cameras compare, and a little bit of my notes and my thoughts on them. So that spreadsheet I mentioned will kind of walk you through the differences between the X4, X5, and the X4 Air a little bit more in depth. But from what I've seen so far, this is really a lighter version of the X4. I wouldn't necessarily compare it to the X5 because it doesn't have that pure night video mode. The low light capabilities of the X4 Air is not as robust as the X5. But the X4 doesn't have a dedicated pure video night mode, so these two are more comparable to each other. Same with the X3, which I don't have on hand to show you or compare, but I couldn't ignore it because the price point right now, I think it's like $200. Yeah, it's on sale right now for $230 and it's typically $400. So if you wanted a good Insta360 camera for a good price, the X3 is currently $230. So the X5 is currently the camera that I use to motovlog, along with the Ace Pro 2, which sits on my helmet. This one sits on the bike looking back at me. But the X5, I use it in two main ways. So you can use it in single lens mode, which is the way that I surprisingly find myself primarily using it. Like, it's a 360 camera, but I find myself just using it in single lens mode because I do a lot of like on-camera bike shots where I want to sync up the video from 2 different cameras and the audio, and it's so much easier to do that when you're doing single lens mode. Because if you film in 360, then you have to take it through Insta360's app, convert it to an MP3 or an MP4 file, and then sync up everything. That just adds an extra step. So single lens mode, especially because I only want it filming back at me, perfect. Totally solves that problem. And I still get a 360 camera, but I can use it as a basic action camera. So the single lens mode is not very heavily advertised on any of these 360 cameras, but you can do single lens mode on any of them. And that is important because it's gonna save you a ton of storage space and like file space. So if you don't have like a dedicated hard drive, and even though I got a NAS system that I gotta set up and make more robust, I still find it way easier to just film like what I need and not have to deal with these insanely large file sizes if I don't have to, especially because this is my editing setup. It's just this laptop, so what if I just have like a 500 gigabyte hard drive? Although Insta360 does have a like cloud storage option you can purchase, and I think if you buy a camera they give you like 6 months free, like a whole terabyte. So maybe take advantage of that if that's something you want. Come on, good boy. And the other way that I end up using the X5 is as an actual 360 camera, and I find myself putting it in 360 mode when I'm going to events where like there might be stuff happening around me that I want to capture, friends or whatever, or when I'm out riding with friends like in a group, maybe one of them is doing a wheelie or something next to me, I can send him the footage if I can capture it in 360, and so everyone's happy. It's much more practical for me to use it in 360 mode when I'm with friends or at an event, and I'm usually using it in loop record mode where you can record continuously and then save only the last fixed segment length, and you can set that to whatever. I think I have mine set to 1 minute. You hit the button, it'll only save the last minute of footage, so that also helps to cut down on space and storage. So those are the two main ways I find myself using it. And then for night mode, because the X5 is the only one that actually has a pure video mode for night, I will say you can definitely see the difference. I'm trying to make a video, buddy. You're being so noisy. The X5 is the only one that has a pure video mode, so it's got better low light processing capability. I have a whole video on this, the X5, comparing it to the DJI camera that came out. So if you want to watch that, I'll link it at the end of this video. But it's something that the X4 doesn't have, and it's also something that the X4 Air doesn't have. So if you're looking for like using a 360 camera in low light situations, definitely go with the X5. It's the only one that has that pure video mode from the 360 cameras. It's because the Ace Pro 2 also has pure video mode, so you can get some really good night footage out of the Ace Pro 2. So speaking a little bit about how I use the Ace Pro 2. I feel like I've used it an equal amount of times now to vlog and to moto vlog. So I have it with the flip screen down here on my helmet in most of my moto vlogs. And it's also the camera that's recording the audio to my videos. So I have the mic Air inside of my helmet, and then that record like kind of clipped to the nose guard, and that records my audio to this camera. But you can also connect it to like the X5 if you want. It's all Bluetooth. So this will record my main audio and the footage looking forward. And then when I'm going to an event or something like the Harley Davidson behind the scenes with Moto America, I filmed that entire vlog just on the Ace Pro 2. And you can put it on a selfie stick and face it towards you if you want, but I find it also has a pretty good like wide angle. And so if I just hold it out and put it in a wide angle mode, it actually gets enough of what's going on behind me. It gets me. It's far enough away for me to just be able to act on its own. They did come out with a wide angle lens for this. So if you didn't know, these cameras, this red part, it's actually just a lens guard. It pops right out, and you can put the wide angle mode lens on it. Interestingly enough, we also have the same Insta360 Ace Pro 2, but this is like a different version where they didn't change anything about it except for the fact that they gave it a new lens guard. Like I haven't even gotten around to playing with their updated version yet. But I think if you order an Insta360 online now, this is the version you're gonna get with this like roundish lens guard as opposed to like this square one that they had before. But everything else has stayed the same. So you're getting the same camera, just a different shaped lens guard. I'm not sure exactly why they did that. I'm sure they have their reasoning, but I don't know what it is. And the Ace Pro 2 can also film in 8K along with the X5, the X4, and the X4 Air. The X3 cannot film in 8K. I think that one only does like 5.7K. But again, going back to how I actually use these cameras on a day-to-day basis, I don't think I've ever filmed in 8K except for doing like a quick video comparison or something online for you guys if I needed to. But day to day, I'm usually filming. If it's 360, I'll do 5.7K at either 30 or 60 frames per second. And then if I'm using it in single lens mode, like I am on the X5, it's actually 1080p, 60 frames per second. And that footage at 1080p still looks so crispy and good. At least I don't always need to film in like super high resolution, so you won't catch me making reels in 8K. I'm not a professional videographer. I feel like most people, most moto vloggers, most bikers buying these cameras are not either. So I'm just letting you know the reality of how I actually find these cameras practical in real life. So if I had to give you advice on like a buying guide, when you're going through the Insta360 website and you're looking at all the different sales that they have going on and stuff, kind of think about what would be your daily use and daily experience with these cameras and what you want to get out of it, and see if any of the features that these cameras have available make sense in that regard. Maybe that's where the X4 Air comes into play. As of me recording this, the X4 Air is actually on sale for $300. The X4 is $300 right now. Typically it's $500. And the X5, usually $550, now it's $465. Dang, these sales are interesting. You need definitely to go on the website, compare and contrast, and look at what makes sense in terms of the price points, because I'm not sure how they did their Black Friday pricing, but you could score some good deals here depending on your specific needs. And I think now, from what I saw on their website, they're also like offering 3 free accessories with a purchase. So typically they only offer 1 if you purchase through like an affiliate link from some influencer or creator, but now it's like 3. So keep that in mind. One of the things that I was hoping when I got the X5 after getting the X4 was that the batteries would be backwards compatible, but they're not. And especially for the X4 Air, if you're getting it, this one has a smaller battery than the other two, obviously. All right, so you've got the X5 Ultra battery, the X4 battery, and the X4 Air. If you're interested in like the specific battery sizes, I put those in the table I mentioned earlier. It's linked in the description, so check that out for more details on each camera. Overall, like the biggest takeaway there is that the X5 has the longest battery life, then the X4, then the X4 Air. In terms of running time, I do find it useful to have a second battery available to me to switch out. With the Ultra battery, which is the option you can get on the X5, only the X5 has an Ultra battery. I don't find the need to carry a second battery with me. I do just in case, but I believe there was only once I ever had to change it, and that was when I was doing like a full day of filming down in Texas, and I just didn't have anywhere to like stop and charge it. But I do think having an extra battery with you would be useful. And I also gotten questions about how long the battery lasts, and that really depends again on what you're filming in. If I'm filming in 1080p with single lens mode like I do when I'm motovlogging, I mean, this thing will last me 2 hours, no problem. But if you're gonna go ahead and film 360 video, yeah, you might need to change it out, especially if you're not using like loop recording and you're just continuously going and recording. So your mileage may vary depending on what settings you're in. All right, there's four main accessories that I want to talk about that I find myself using. Five. The selfie stick is one. The selfie stick you can use on like any Insta360 camera to like extend it out and get a wider shot. But for the X5, what I've really been doing is the ND filters that you can put on it. Different like strengths you can put on them, 16, 32, and 64, I believe. I typically use the lowest strengths. These are the ND 16s, I think. And I find that for sunny days, those make my footage look, they make the colors pop so much better. There's not as much harsh contrast between like the highlights and the shadows. So I really like using the ND filters on the X5. We'll continue to do so on sunny days where it makes sense. The other accessory, which I have a second backup of, is the heavy duty clamp. You've seen this one in all my motovlogs. This is the one accessory out of the literal hundreds that Insta360 has on their website that I find to be extremely useful. So if you're doing like traditional motovlogging style shots where the camera is looking back at you, this is one of the ones that you want to get. And a little adapter that goes along with it to make it super quick and easy to take the camera on and off is the quick release mount. And I've featured that in a reel before, and I've showed you how quickly you can take the camera on and off. That one I also find useful as an accessory, so I would recommend that with the heavy duty clamp. I'll leave the one that I'm talking about specifically in the description for you guys, and also in that spreadsheet that I'm linking. What you doing, buddy? You wanna come up? Come on. All right. Removable replacement lenses. You have that option on the X4 Air and the X5. The X4 does not have removable lenses. So I've been using Insta360 since their 1R days, like back in 2020 or something like that, when they had the modular 360 camera. And that one I had for a long time, and then I went on a track day at pit race. It fell off the back of my bike, survived because it broke apart into like the 3 modular pieces, and was filming perfectly. There was just a small scuff on the lens that in certain lights you could see it in the video, but that one didn't have removable lenses at the time. So if you're doing like track days, I would highly recommend whatever camera you're picking up, whether it's the X4 Air or the X5, maybe also pick up a pair of removable lenses so that you have those on hand. With the X4, you can still replace the lenses, but I believe you have to send it in to Insta360 and pay a fee to do that. If you're actually rough on your cameras, that might be something you want to consider. Fun fact, did you know cockatiels can see 350 degrees? So they got eyes on the sides of their head. It's like a 360 camera. Eyes and ears in every direction for Dutches. Isn't that kind of wild? Technology always imitates nature, right? Nothing gets past you, Sherlock. You know, maybe if Insta360 needs a mascot, I volunteer Duchess. I think he could be a pretty good mascot. So I wanted to have this more like real chat with you guys about how I actually use 360 cameras. Hopefully that makes your decision a little bit clearer if you're thinking about purchasing an Insta360 camera. There's major Black Friday sales happening right now, so it's a good time to actually pick one up if you want one. There's lots of information on the Insta360 website if you're trying to do your own comparisons, and you can also use my guide to get started on that. There's also links in there to everything that I've been talking about. Thank you again, Insta360, for sending out all these cameras. Hope you guys enjoyed the guide, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!